What is good, everybody? It is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. How are y'all feeling today? Mad talk has come out that the Chicago Cubs are looking to put Kris Bryant on the trading block. So I am here to ask you the question, and of course give my own humble opinion, on whether the Chicago Cubs should look to move Kris Bryant or hold on to the former MVP. Right after this.
On one, on two, on three.
Stop it! Do not do him like that! Mercy! Did you not get the memo?
Okay, so before we get into the video, if you are new to the channel, if you are a Chicago sports fan, please like this video and then please subscribe to the page and hit that bell because we do talk Chicago sports weekly here on this channel and we don't want you to miss a thing. We appreciate all the love too. So, a lot of talks have come out of the winter meetings that Kris Bryant's name has been brought up in trade conversations with multiple teams. And a lot of people have been asking me, should the Cubs trade Kris Bryant? Why should they trade Kris Bryant? Why would they trade Kris Bryant? Kris Bryant is a staple of our team. Let's state some key facts about Kris Bryant. MVP player, absolutely. Gold glove defenseman, absolutely. Great bat, absolutely. Injury prone. Absolutely. All of those positive things that I just named about Kris Bryant, 110% true. I don't take anything away from the man. When he is on the baseball diamond, he is one of the best players in the league. And I know when you look at that, you think, why would you ever get rid of somebody like that? And my only argument to it is, do his injuries keep him from being that player? I think we watched the Kris Bryant last season for most of the season, who wasn't the guy that we have come to know in Chicago. Now, while he still had decent numbers, by the numbers you can look at it and say, listen, he was still an all-star type level player. He was still a top-tier player in this league. You can't trade that away. But when you look at what Kris Bryant has done in his career, a lot of it has been the successes. Early on, it was the successors, right? It was the World Series ring, the MVPs, the Minor League Player of the Year awards. You know, like, we heard all the great things, and they came true. They came to fruition. He did great things for the Cubs, but in these last couple years, we've seen him struggle to stay healthy. We've seen him struggle to stay on the field. And honestly, in the moments that the Cubs have needed him most, he hasn't been there. Now, does that take away the skill of Kris Bryant? Does that take away what he has accomplished in this league? Absolutely not. But this is a game on production. So in my opinion, if I were the Chicago Cubs, I would look to trade Kris Bryant. And here's why. Now, we have heard reports that maybe Anthony Rizzo is unhappy on the north side. Maybe there's some unrest coming up in there. Maybe you move him out and you get some more money back. But the one thing that the Cubs don't have, they got the Javi Baez. They got the Wilson Contreras. Right now they have the Kris Bryants. They've got one stud pitcher. And we don't really know if he's going to continue to be the stud that we saw. And that pitcher's Yu Darvish. There is no other pitcher on this pitching staff. You can have as many bats as you want. But if you don't have the pitching to keep these guys from having to hit 3, 4, 5 home runs a game, which is kind of what this league is becoming, but at the same time, when you're looking at the team, you got to start looking at the players that are going to bring you the most back. Now, does moving maybe a Javi Baez, I don't think the Cubs are going to do that. I think Chicago's kind of tied to Javi Baez. I think, honestly, he is the face of this organization currently because when people think Cubs, they think Javi Baez because of the flair, because of the dramatics. Kris Bryant kind of keeps his head low. He comes in, does his job, gets out, which is great, but I just don't see a scenario where the Cubs move on from a Javier Baez. When you're talking Anthony Rizzo, maybe that's an option now. Maybe that's an option because that came out late, but what's Rizzo going to bring you back as a 30-year-old first baseman? You know what I'm saying? I think that if you do have Kris Bryant on the trading block, listen, just like the Cubs and Cubs fans are saying, there's no way you can trade this man. Other teams are saying the same thing. They don't believe you would actually be thinking about trading this man. And for that reason, they're willing to give a king's ransom to get him away. They don't see that. They don't see Kris Bryant as an over-the-hill player. And honestly, I don't either. But if you're unable to produce year after year, and yes, it's only been the last couple of years, but if you're unable to stay on the field for me, then honestly, on the baseball diamond, you don't have a use for me. And if you're unable to be healthy to a point where you're actually contributing what the team needs you to contribute, listen, I'd take 70% Kris Bryant over a lot of players in this league, but at the end of the day, you have to look at what is he doing on the field, how long has he been on the field, how long can he stay on the field. And I think that by flipping Kris Bryant, you get the most back. Possibly getting those pitching prospects, possibly getting, rebuilding your minor league system, you know what I mean? Because this is it right here. What's here on the Cubs, on the north side, is what you've got in your minor league system. So you got to start flipping that thing over if this is a dynasty type team, a team that you want to keep as a great team for years to come. Take it from a guy who's had to watch the south side of Chicago all the time and had to go through those years where it was just Chris Sale, a Cy Young level pitcher, and we had to flip him because we couldn't get it together. You hate to say it, you hate to see it, but honestly, if I see the Cubs' continued success, getting into the playoffs, continuing to be dominant, I think that they do have to move on from Kris Bryant. I think that they need to trade Kris Bryant, and I think that that's going to be their best move to rebuild this farm system, to rebuild what you have currently coming through the lineup. But you let me know in the comments below how you feel. Should the Chicago Cubs keep Kris Bryant, or should they look to trade him away and get some top-level prospects back? I would love, love, love to hear your feedback. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the page if you haven't already done so, because we talk Chicago sports weekly. As I said before, I am going to get up out of here. It is your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out here, man. Peace.